will talk about team organization. So within a team, there are different roles that can be distinguished. There are managers, there are testers, designers, there could be programmers, and so on. So depending on the size of the project, more than one role may be carried out by one person, or different people may play the same role, right? It depends on your organization, on your project. So the responsibilities and tasks of each of these roles have to be precisely defined in the project plan. The peoples in a team can cooperate in order to achieve an optimal result, yet it is advisable to strictly separate certain roles. So in an organization we will have certain roles. We have to specify the job responsibilities of those roles, okay, of those peoples. So how a team can be organized? There are lots of different ways how you can organize your team. So the first one we are going to discuss about is that the hierarchical team organization. So if the environment is completely dedicated to the production of the software, we can use this hierarchical team structure. So here you can see we have drawn a figure here, a small figure with 3 layers. So here the leaf nodes, the lower level, the actual work is actually done in the leaf nodes. These are the actual workers. Here the production is happening here, okay? So the middle circle nodes here denotes the managers. The task of managers are different than the leaf nodes, right? The actual work is done in the leaf nodes, and the middle nodes, they actually define the managers. They do the managerial work. So here you can think about 2 level of management, okay? The 2 level of management can be done here. At the lower level, different teams are responsible for different parts of the project. The team managers at this level have a primary responsibility in coordinating the work within their respective teams. So you can say these are the team leaders. At the higher level of management, the work of the different teams is coordinated. So it's not possible to associate the hierarchical organization with only one of the coordination mechanism introduced in the previous slide, right? You cannot just use one organization or one coordination mechanism. So for each unit identified here, any of the coordination mechanisms mentioned earlier is possible. You can use any of the 5 coordination mechanism discussed in the previous slide. You can use any of the coordination mechanism in each level, in each unit, okay? So it's a combinations of coordination mechanism you can use here in hierarchical team organization, okay? So this is the advantage, but there is also disadvantage in hierarchical teams. The disadvantage is that you can see there is a clear distance between the teams, like where the real work is done, and the higher management. There is a clear distance between the lower level teams and the higher management. So this distance may hide problems. So you can see here there is an example here, like in bottom level we can see that we are having severe troubles implementing module X. Suppose we are having severe trouble in implementing our module X. In the bottom level you have identified this one, but when it will go to level 1, so in level 1 they can say there are some problems with module X. So already the information has changed here. So when it will go to the level 2, you can say the progress is steady. I do not foresee any real problems. So the information has more changed here. So in the top level, they can say everything is proceeding according to our plan. So you have identified a problem in the bottom level, but because of the distance between the bottom level and the higher management, you lost this problem. They are saying that everything is fine here. Our work is proceeding according to our plan. So there is a potential problem here. It might cause a big issue in the later phase. So that's why this is a bigger disadvantage of this hierarchical team organization. So it will hide information, it will hide problems. And there is one more disadvantage is that the label in hierarchy often equates with rank or rewards, like engineers either cannot rise in level, or engineers are forced to abandon their primary skills to be managers, right? So that's one more disadvantage in hierarchical team organization. Now let's move to chief programmer team. In chief programmer team, chief programmer is the team leader here, okay? And the chief programmer is responsible for design and critical parts of the implementation. He's responsible for most of the work. Now there is also an assistant chief programmer. The task of assistant chief programmer is to assist chief, and he does the rest of the implementation. And there are senior programmers, librarian, administration, tester. So the task of librarian is to handle documentation, deployment, code management, those kinds of stuff. And you can also add some specialist here, like tester. Tester is a specialist. He will test the project. And you can also add some special programmers here, specialists who are specialists in different sectors. So you can add some few specialists here which will augment the team, okay? So if we closely observe this chief programmer team, you will see that it's a very coding centric view. That's good, but there is problems here. The problem here is there is a high stress on chief, right? He's responsible for the design and critical parts of the implementation, so he will have high stress in the project. And also there is low level of satisfaction for remainder of the team, right? So one more thing is that if you want to apply this one in large project, it will not scale well, okay? It works well for small scale projects, but for large scale project it will not fit well. So that's the problem of chief programmer team. Now we have one more team organization style, that's matrix organization. So in matrix organization, staffs are assigned specialized roles based on skill sets. So it depends on your skill set, like architects, designers, analysts, testers. So staffs will be assigned based on their skill sets. And team managers address general ability of team to perform the role, okay? So this is how matrix organization will organize their team. You can clearly see that this organization has limitation. It has limited benefit if an organization is so small that they have just one architect, one tester, or one designer. So in that way they will not get the optimal benefit if they follow the matrix organization, okay? So that's one disadvantage. And in this model, one thing is that team members with critical skill can be swapped from project to project. So that's a good thing, right? According to their need, they can swap from project to project. But there is also a danger, right? Suppose a good architectural designer may leave project once they enter the high level design phase. So that's one more difficulty associated with this matrix organization. So I can mention few more dangers of matrix organization. That is restricted communication, that's one thing. And another is management clashes. So there could be management clashes, like project managers may clash with the hire managers that assign people via the matrix. So this could happen. So this is another cons of this matrix organization. So this is the last one, democratic or open structured teams. So from the name democratic, you can easily understand that it does not enforce any formal team hierarchy, and you can also see this in the figure. There is no team hierarchy here. Okay, so that's democratic team structure. So here a manager provides the administrative leadership, and at different times different members of the group provide technical leadership. So this is how democratic team works. And also, if an organization follow democratic leads, democratic team organization, then it will find higher job satisfaction. Also, the democratic team structure is appropriate for less understood problem. Like if you don't understand the project requirements well, then you can use this democratic team structure. And the reason behind this, that a group of engineers can invent better solution than a single individual, as we have seen in the chief programmer team, right? So that's why if your program is less understood, you can use this democratic team structure for better solution. And also a democratic team structure actually is suitable for projects which requires less than 5 or 6 engineers. And also if your project is research oriented, then you can use this democratic team structure. But if you want to apply this in large size project, then it will become chaotic, right? At that moment democratic team structure will not work well. So that's the pros and cons of democratic team structure.